Have you ever wondered how some folks paint straight lines so easily, but on your jobs, it looks as though you painted them whilst riding atop a border collie? Like this little monkey, who my brother is quite fond of for some reason. I think it's one of the few things that brings him joy. Moving on. Today I'm going to show you why you might be on the struggle bus trying to paint straight lines, how we get straight lines on our jobs, and some tips and tricks to get the results that you want. So that brings us to the age-old question, should you freehand it or tape? And when I say freehand, I mean cutting it in with a brush with no tape, no safety net, just getting after it. Generally, folks will fall into two camps with this question, and either they freehand everything and they don't use any tape, or they tape way too much. When my brother Josh and I first started out in the field, we didn't tape anything, and it was kind of a point of pride for us, but really we were just being silly and slightly inexperienced. Then one day a client goes, wow, our old painter taped everything, and you guys did everything by hand. That's super impressive. And then we were like, oh really? What did he tape exactly? So through the years and through trial and error and working in with other paint crews that used a variety of methods, we kind of landed on a blending of techniques of both freehand lines and taping that allow us to get straight lines in an efficient manner. So that brings us to, what should you tape? Before I get into that, this process will only work if you paint in the same sequence that we do. We paint the trim and the ceiling first, and then we paint the walls last. If you look at a typical wall with a window or a door on it, you've got a couple lines that should be straight. The line between the baseboard and the wall, the lines around the door frame or the window frames, and then the line between the ceiling and the wall. All right, so if you're looking at this wall, I'm gonna go over what we tape, and then I will show you our taping process after I cover that. So on a typical wall like this, we will tape out the baseboard. That does a couple things. It gives you a super straight line between the wall and the baseboard, and it also protects the baseboard from any splatter that's gonna come off the roller when you go to actually roll the walls. And then you've kind of got dealer's choice on window casings and door casings. On the sides, you can tape into those. We used to do that. Now, pretty much we freehand all those lines. But if you have some like tighter corners and things like that and you're just uncomfortable with it, you can very easily tape into it, and that's not a big issue. Now that you know that you're gonna be doing some taping, you might be asking, what tape should you use? I would highly recommend 1.5" yellow frog tape. It is the tits. You can get super clean lines with very little bleed through. I can't recommend this enough. It's awesome. Onward to some taping basics. The first thing you wanna do, say you're taping out some baseboard, you wanna pick a direction you're gonna go. I'm right-handed, I like going from left to right. My brother's a lefty, he goes the other way. Whatever your preference, doesn't matter, just kind of stick to one pattern as you kind of progress around the room. This is what I like doing. I like getting about a 3 to 4 foot section. It's a little bit wider, you know, it's not quite an arm span, but it is fairly easy to control. And then what I tend to do is put my thumb down on the left side on the top of the baseboard, and then kind of work the line in along the top of the baseboard. And then once I get it lined up the way that I want, then I'll seal it across with my thumb. And then you just keep layering these sections along as you go, and you don't need to use caulk or anything like that to seal in good tape, particularly stuff like the yellow frog tape. You'll get plenty clean lines if you put enough pressure on it with your whatever finger you choose. After you are done cutting in and rolling everything and your last finish coat has gone on, when you go to pull tape, you want to pull tape in the same direction that you laid it down, because if you do that, each section that you laid on top of each other will pull up in one long section. And then you can crunch it all into a super sweet tape ball and throw it at somebody, because that's fun. Also, when you go to pull tape, particularly on baseboards, you want to pull kind of on an angle, not straight up. As you see in this video that we did as we pulled tape, you want to kind of pull out a little bit and a little bit down. And that way you're not gonna rip up into your finished paint and potentially rip the paint off the walls, which is no bueno. Now that you know what you should tape, we're on to what should you freehand. Of all the techniques required in typical house painting, I think this one gives people the most anxiety, which is cutting a clean line between the wall and the ceiling. But you're in luck, don't even worry about it. In fact, you don't need to develop any skills at all. Just use this handy AccuBrush. It'll give you straight lines that even the professionals will be jealous of. I'm joking. This is hot garbage, despite what you'll hear from people in the comments. So first thing, no tape. Why, you might be asking? So if you tape the ceiling and then paint into it, a lot of times you get bleed through. Some of the worst lines I've ever seen have been from homeowners or even previous painters taping that ceiling line. and then they go to pull tape. Sometimes it'll rip the ceiling paint off of the walls. And really what you want when you're cutting in the ceiling line particularly is the appearance of a straight line, not necessarily a straight line, which I will get to in a moment. A couple things that will make this process quite a bit easier for you. Number one, and probably the most important, is to use a quality brush. I can't emphasize that enough. If you're trying to cut and freehand a decent line and you're using a garbage brush, that's gonna be very difficult. I prefer a 2.5-inch Corona Cortez. These are awesome. If it's a little bit too wide for you, you can always get a 2-inch variety. Just because if you're not used to doing this type of work, you are holding this above your shoulder line to cut this line. And it does get fatiguing after a while, particularly if you're not used to it. Now, when you go to cut in your ceiling line, you want to be in the correct orientation. And what I mean by that is some of the mistakes I've seen people make is that you don't want to be looking straight into the line you're cutting into, like if my head was touching the ceiling as I'm cutting in, because that's not how anyone's going to be looking at that line. You want to be underneath of it, looking up. So you want to be, generally you're going to be up on a ladder, but your eyes need to be below that line so that you can tell whether or not it's looking straight. Once you have your direction established, say we're going to go from left to right, I'm gonna dip my brush into my paint pot. I like wiping off the side of the brush that's gonna be closest to the ceiling. Then I wipe a lot of the paint off of the brush just below where I'm starting the ceiling line so that I don't have too much in the brush. Then I start cutting that line from left to right. I think some people's tendencies that I've seen is that they slow down. And then if you slow down, you go super slow, you're gonna notice way more shake in the brush. So not that you should be going as fast as you can, but you want to pick a decent speed, and that'll actually help things even out. When you're cutting in this line, it's actually more important that the line is continuous than it's perfectly straight. One more little tip, if you want it to look more straight from standing on the ground, it's a little bit better to get more paint up on the ceiling a little bit than lower. If you go too low, it looks weird from the ground, versus if you run it up a little bit on the ceiling, not crazy, it'll look better just in general when people are walking around the room. If you end up getting too much on the ceiling, you can always come back and touch that up with some ceiling paint. It's not that big of a deal. Also keep in mind, it's likely you'll be doing 2 coats, so if you have any janky lines on your first pass, you can clean those up on your second go around, and that's often quite a bit easier to straighten things out. So for straight lines, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and I can't emphasize this enough. Being able to cut in a clean line between the walls and the ceiling is a keystone skill, and it will pay dividends if you can work towards getting relatively decent at that. I know as a young professional painter myself, way back in the day, one of my most proud moments was when I was able to start cutting in clean lines between the ceiling and the walls. It just opens up a lot of other techniques that you can do and makes your life way, way easier. That being said, even if you can paint straight lines and tape straight lines and all that good stuff, if you mess up your caulking in the first place, it'll really hinder how it looks, and it might even nuke your sweet straight lines that you worked on. If you want to learn how we caulk, you can check out this video right over here. Was this a video or was it all just a dream?